Hump Day Wednesday right here on the Sports Grid Network. It is time for the early line. Did you stay up late once again? Overtime seems to be an epidemic, and also pour a little bit out for the people that had the Cleveland Cavaliers yesterday, whether it was a money line ticket or, more importantly, on the spread line. But it's not what we do here. Why? Because some of us on this show, which includes Joe Raineri, told you better be on those New York Knicks here with a nice little public fade, and you should be okay. 6.5 or 7.5, waited through overtime, but still got it. Your boy DRS said, wait up late night as well. Take a team total on those Angels over 4.5, and you should be just fine. Both of those hit. Joe's 2-0 this week. I'm 1-1. That means we're 3-1, fresh off a week last week that we were 8-2. But we have so many topics to get to today, Joe. 2 hours right here on the grid to settle it up. How's that feel, Joe?
Never in doubt, Donnie. Never in
Easy.
doubt last night. And if you actually turned the television off and went to bed, shame on you. Shame on you. It's Madison Square Garden. Anything can happen, though.
Anything can happen, which includes, we'll talk about it a little bit later. Hey, just signed a new extension to be your coach. Didn't work out in Edmonton and didn't work out in Dallas. We'll find out about that. But now it's time for the hottest topic of the day. It's a Wednesday. You're halfway through to a holiday weekend. Let's get the party started, Joe. Bring the caffeination now.
All right, Donnie. So we do need to talk about the massive shift in the sports landscape right now. And I have a confession to make. Because for years, I have sat behind either a microphone or a camera and told you that when the postseason rolls around, there is absolutely no sport on the planet that compares to the NHL playoffs. It does not even matter if you are a hockey fan or not. The intensity is completely unmatched. Just look at what we got from Montreal and Buffalo already earlier this week. A brutal, down-to-the-wire Game 7 with a trip to the conference finals on the line. And, Donnie, we get that every year. The NHL delivers that kind of theater in every single round of their postseason. But I've also told you that there is no worse product to watch in the postseason than what the NBA delivers. And while hockey is giving us sudden death overtime, the NBA is usually giving us 30-point blowouts in Game 7s. We spend an 82-game regular season watching half the league actively tank, and while the other half just accepts participation trophies. And then, of course, we got to sit back and watch them get completely bounced in unwatchable, uncompetitive games and series. But I'm a fair man, and when the facts change, my opinion changes. Because I have to hand it to Adam Silver's league this morning. After what we witnessed over the last 48 hours, I think it's safe to say that the NBA playoffs have officially arrived at the NHL's level. Now, first, we get Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. And we watched a 7'6" French alien named Victor Wembanyama single-handedly drop 41 points, 24 rebounds to beat the defending champion Oklahoma City Thunder in double overtime. By the way, in OKC's building. It was unbelievable and must watch. And just when you thought there was absolutely no way the Eastern Conference could top that theater, well, then the New York Knicks said, wait a minute, hold my beer. Because last night at Madison Square Garden, the Knicks were completely left for dead. They were down by 22 points with just 7 minutes left on the clock, Donnie. But Jalen Brunson put James Harden and the rest of the Cavs defense in a blender. He led what is a historic comeback, forced overtime, and the Knicks somehow found a way to not only win the game, Donnie, but cover the spread. And just like that, we have reached the pinnacle of the sports calendar. Both the NHL and the NBA are delivering must-watch television now with unbelievable urgency, massive stakes, and, oh yes, superstar performances. Now, Donnie, if we can only figure out which of the 15 different premium streaming services we need to subscribe to just to actually watch these games moving forward, well, then we would really be in business.
Absolutely. And by the way, you knew eventually the NBA playoffs would get good. You separate the men from the boys, and now you're getting legit challenges on a night-to-night basis, and that will continue once more tonight. Eastern Conference, Western Conference, fantastic stuff in the NBA. Let's flip it over to the early lineup, Joe. The hot topics across the sports landscape, which includes the NFL. If you build it, Joe, they will come. Well, a lot of people are coming to Nashville. Probably when? 2030. Super Bowl heads to Nashville. It's official now.
It is. And listen, it's a great town, Donnie. I've been to Nashville a few times to actually go to Titans games, and the fans are amazing. Some of the best tailgating that you will see. I mean, it's a great, great place. It's a great town. And yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be a little cold, Donnie. Any which way you cut, it's going to be a little cold.
Yeah, that's the only downfall, but it's a nice city to go to. It's got tons of bars, a lot of hotels there, a good time to be had by all. That's all you ask for in a championship enterprise like the Super Bowl, but they spent a lot of money in that state to get a new stadium, and the NFL typically rewards that, and that's why they're getting the Super Bowl. Carlos Alcaraz, we talked about this before, Joe, even on the predictive markets. How many different people are going to be able to win a possible major here in tennis this year? Well, we like the over of 1.5 to 2. Why? Because Alcaraz is already banged up, and he's not going to be at Wimbledon, Joe.
It looks like that bet's getting even better and better as we speak. Listen, we said nobody's going to win a Grand Slam title this year except those two guys. It's going to, pick your poison. Well, now we only have to pick one, Donnie, which makes it very easy moving forward here in tennis.
If you are a really good athlete, Joe, they will put up a lot. And we're talking about the Kansas City Chiefs at this point. When Andy Reid was in Philadelphia, he didn't put up with anything. If you were a bad guy in the locker room, not doing the right things, you were cut immediately. Andy Reid then went to Kansas City. He's like, you know what? Let me be a little bit more lenient and let players on my team that can help us on the field and hopefully stay out of trouble off the field. Rashee Rice, he's going to jail. Oh, no, what did he do? Violated the terms of his probation by getting high. He's going to the clink. And also, the Kansas City Chiefs, move on, man. Just move on.
Yeah, let's not forget, Andy didn't win very much in Philly, Donnie. Yeah, no, he is. Yeah, but Andy's tolerance level also coincided with his ability to actually win Super Bowls. I will say this: you can't fix stupid, people. You just can't fix stupid. So, by all means, congratulations, weed and throw away your entire career. Got fantastic stuff, Rice. Right? I mean, really good there, Rashid.
Like Joe, he got a sweetheart deal and was like, just don't get high and you'll be able to play football. Yeah, I don't know much about that football thing. Congratulations to jail that you go. Jason Kidd out as Maverick Joe. He just signed an extension for $40 million. He's going to the Cavs. Oh, no, who's the big winner here? It's Jason Kidd.
Wait a minute. So you mean to tell me the Mavericks? Jason Kidd was the problem. Oh, I understand now. Jason Kidd was the problem. Jason Kidd did more with less there and had absolutely nothing to do with the Luka trade or anything else. I mean, by all means, he will be unemployed for about 3 minutes, Donnie.
$40 million to go away. I mean, look, you just signed him to extension. I understand you have a new basketball head of operations. Hilarious stuff here. Live Golf. They're telling you, hey, we're looking for investors. We're feeling good. And behind the scenes, get those bankruptcy papers ready, Joe.
Oh, it's coming, Donnie. We all know it. The writing's been on the wall here. I mean, everybody knows it. Rom knows it. Deschamps, but all the guys left on tour know it. It's coming.
Arsenal wins the Premier League title for the first time in 22 years. By the way, I don't follow the EPL, but it seems like a lot of people on social media were upset that Arsenal actually won the EPL here. I got no idea why, but apparently it was like the Eagles. Like people got upset when the Eagles won a Super Bowl. I don't know.
Yeah, like the bad boy Pistons, like nobody likes them. They are the villain, Donnie. And when the villain wins, nobody likes it. And you know what? That's great for the sport.
Hey, I know what's great for the sport. Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't know if I want to play in the World Cup. Who doesn't want to play in the World Cup? Cristiano Ronaldo going to play in the World Cup.
Of course he's going to. I mean, there are people who paid $75,000 a ticket to see him play.
Airbnb's on the rise now in the States with Ronaldo. Back in action. We'll be right back.
The UIM Formula One World Championship Series. We are over the moon excited about the upcoming season.
Let's go.
10,000 horsepower roars off the dock.
Oh my, there's a problem.
On the outside, side by side. And he's lost control of the boat. Hopes and dreams of winning here. Yes!
Get ready for round one, the Regione Sardegna Grand Prix of Italy, May 29th to 31st.
You can recruit super young talent that may go in the NBA. You can recruit older guys and have them grow up together. But if you want players to stay, either sign them to contracts or treat them well enough where they're going to stay. To me, it's pretty simple. And, you know, a lot of coaches last year had good years and they left skid marks on their schools and nobody said a word.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
They're trading right now currently at 74 wins on the season, which means the Kalshi marketplace goes by 5-win intervals. 75-plus wins for those Houston Astros. That's a 49% contract to the yes, which a $100 investment pays back $205, Greg. I'm not high on this team. Look, again, 75 wins for the Astros is terrible, but this team might not even look the same as where we stand today by the time we get to that deadline.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
How about some spread lines you need to know for tonight? It's how we get down to business here on the early line. It is a hump day, and as I started the show talking about, Joe, you are halfway to a wonderful holiday weekend. Now, if you're in the Northeast, one of the worst weekend weather scripts that you're ever going to see, but still, it is a holiday weekend. But before we get there, Joe, big doings in the NBA. Did you watch last night? You had an overtime game that was wild in Madison Square Garden that the Knicks prevailed by double digits. Who would have thought it? You had to watch it to figure out. The night before that, 2 overtimes for the Western Conference Finals opener, and that was won by the San Antonio Spurs. Game 2 tonight, OKC, the pressure is on. The line, Joe, opened up at 6.5. The line still sits on that graphic at 6.5, a total at 216.5. Only 25 to 30% of the tickets coming in on OKC. What? That's too many points, Joe. But I need a spread line from you tonight on this game.
Well, they must be influential dollars, Donnie, moving, because this thing opened up 6.5 after the double overtime loss, and it is locked in at 6.5. And yet we're seeing a lot of tickets and a lot of money on San Antonio again, which is exactly what we saw in the first game, except we saw the that spread moved on the news of De'Aaron Fox. Now, he's still questionable here tonight, so we don't know if this is going to follow the same script. He gets ruled out about an hour and a half before tip-off, and then all of a sudden 6.5 grows to 7.5. So my advice would be, if you're backing OKC, do it early, because if that news comes down, we're going to see exactly a repeat of what we saw in Game 1. And the total, people weren't scared off. Don't forget, that was 101-101 at the end of regulation, Donnie. So that was woefully under what the original total was. Now we saw this thing 215 open, been pushed up. You said it there, 216.5, even 217. I'm seeing in a couple of spots. So you tread lightly here. I don't know whether defense rules or if it took 2 overtimes to go over, Donnie. I'd be careful with the over in this one.
You're going to be careful with the over here in a WNBA game. The highest over on the card is the game we're going to talk about right now. The Portland Fire in time to take on the Indiana Fever. That's Caitlin Clark and the squad. Opened up 13.5, still sits at 13.5, a total 180.5. Fever and Fire tonight from Indiana, Joe.
Yeah, and this one looks like it's going to be a fun shootout, Donnie, because we both know that none of these people here are going to play any defense on the court tonight here. And Kate looks like she's finally starting to get into a rhythm, get into a groove. We know the Fire can certainly score with the best of them. Tempo is going to be there. Lack of defense, a lot of threes. That equals, Donnie, when it's 180 like this, it's 180 for a reason. So the over would be the only way I'd look here.
Once Madonna used to say, get into the groove, and finally we're seeing that here with Caitlin Clark. Could it be a triple-double watch tonight? They're expected to win by close to 2 touchdowns. We'll find out how that one ends. How about one starts, Joe? Western Conference Finals in hockey. Vegas taking on Colorado in Denver tonight. Look at this juicy number on that graphic. The Avalanche, minus 196 as the favorites tonight. And look at that total, 6.5. Game 1 tonight, Joe. Knights, Avalanche. What's the spread line here?
Yeah, I mean, do you give Vegas a puncher's chance here? I mean, that's got to be the question you have, because the market certainly isn't. But this is a very experienced Vegas team, Donnie. The big question, obviously, in both teams, though, as we've seen in the postseason, is goaltending. Like, who's going to stand on their head and stop either of these offenses? Not these two goalies, I'll tell you that. I think this is going to be a fun one. I don't think it's going to be as urgency as it might be when we get to games 3, 4, and 5, but I think we could see a fun one here tonight. I'm expecting goals, Donnie. Would not shock me at all if this thing goes flying over the total.
Heat and humidity still up here in the Bronx. That's going to take place once again. The Yankees win another game yesterday in a close one. Today it's going to be Toronto, and it's also New York. But take a look at this mound matchup. You Savage on the mound for Toronto, Cam Schlittler on the mound for those New York Yankees. Look at this number, minus 172. It's as high as 178 at some outlets, Joe. So that line on the move, favorite as a Yankee here. The total still sits at 8 across the board at most outlets here. Toronto and New York here. Toronto Blue Jays, by the way, 21 and 27 on the season. Slipping away fast with the spread line here today.
Yeah, we had a home run ball there. Yankees down 3-0 quick in that game. And then, of course, McMahon, it's a 3-run homer. And then it was the bullpens got involved and the runs started coming here, Donnie. I don't know how many runs we're going to get in this game here tonight. I know I don't want to step in front of Cam Schlittler. I mean, Toronto's having a hard enough time putting the Yankees away. I don't know that Cam Schlittler is a guy that all of a sudden, this is the game that the Blue Jays bounce through here. To me, I'd cut this game in half. I think the Yankees have a pitching advantage early. I would take advantage of that. I think the Yankee bats can get to Yasavage sooner than the Blue Jays can get to Cam Schlittler. So a first 5 might be the way to look at this one.
Dodgers picked up a win yesterday, 5-4 over the San Diego Padres. Tonight they'll do battle again, 8:40 p.m. Eastern. Shohei Ohtani on the mound tonight going up against Randy Vasquez. Take a look at these numbers, Joe. Hovering on that minus 185 to 190 prices at the opening number have come down slightly across the marketplace. As you see the graphic now, 178 still as a heavy favorite for the road team, Los Angeles Dodgers. The total is low, Joe, 7.5. Dodgers and Padres tonight. What can we look forward to with the spread line for you?
And they had to do it, Donnie, by beating the untouchable Mason Miller last night in the 9th inning. A very rare unearned run by Mason Miller is what did the Dodgers in. Freeman finally, with a couple of home runs, looks like he's finally starting to hit the ball. Huge pitching advantage here, Donnie, right? Could this be the Dodgers' run-and-a-half game? Might be where I would look more so than any place else on the board.
Yeah, sure. I got a couple base hits last night, bringing that average back up, and maybe some good times rolling at the plate for those Los Angeles Dodgers. A lot of afternoon action as well today, Joe, and no real spread line here, but it's always interesting to see. Cincinnati and Philadelphia in a rubber match at 105 today. The total sits at 10 in Philadelphia. Why, Joe? 94 degrees at first pitch, double-digit winds blowing out to right field at Citizens Bank Park. A lot of good stuff to talk about, which also, Joe, in the next segment, more Major League Baseball. We get you updated on the topics that you need to know on a Hump Day Wednesday right here on the SportsGrid Network. It's Donnie Rightside. It's Joe Raineri. It's a lot of fun. It's the SportsGrid Network, and this is the early line, and we will be back after this short break.
The UIM Formula One World Championship Series. We are over the moon excited about the upcoming season.
Let's go.
10,000 horsepower roars off the dock.
Oh my, there's a problem.
On the outside, side by side. And he's lost control of the book. Hopes and dreams of winning here. Yes!
Get ready for round one. The Regione Sardegna Grand Prix of Italy, May 29th to 31st.
You can recruit super young talent that may go in the NBA. You can recruit older guys and have them grow up together. But if you want players to stay, either sign them to contracts or treat them well enough where they're going to stay. To me, it's pretty simple. And, you know, a lot of coaches last year had good years and they left skid marks on their schools and nobody said a word.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio. Only on SportsGrid.
They're trading right now currently at 74 wins on the season, which means the Kalshi marketplace goes by 5-win intervals. 75-plus wins for those Houston Astros. That's a 49% contract to the yes, which a $100 investment pays back $205, Greg. I'm not high on this team. Look, again, 75 wins for the Astros is terrible, but this team might not even look the same as where we stand today by the time we get to that deadline.
Pro Baseball Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Let's go back to 1960, Joe. Why is that? Sometimes you like to take a look at some historical photos and be like, whoa, what's that about here? And why does it look like a little sci-fi? Take a look at this from Twitter yesterday, Joe. 4:21 a.m., Osaka Castle overlooking Nippon Life Stadium in 1960. Looks like something out of a movie, almost like the moon is behind the stadium here, but it's not a moon. It's actually Osaka Castle. Nice little backdrop for a game right there, huh?
How nice is that, Donnie, right? I'd like to play at some nice places and nice fields over the years, but that is actually pretty impressive.
It is pretty impressive. You know, it's even more impressive. Those Tampa Bay Rays, Joe, picked dead last by the oddsman in the American League East. If you look today, Joe, the Tampa Bay Rays are 32-15, won their last 3 games, 7-3 in their last 10, and have a 3-game lead in the East here. Let's hear from Richie Palacios and what he's talking about.
8 straight series win, 17 games over 500, 12-2 against your division, Richie. What's allowed this group to click so well?
We've just been grinding, man. We're working and we're pulling for each other. We love each other, putting good at-bats together. Our arms are doing well. Everybody's doing amazing. So it's just, we got to stick with it.
By the way, when I was a kid, the Tampa Bay's playing great baseball. No surprise to anybody. They stink. Nobody's ever heard of them here, and here they are in first place. But, Joe, when I was growing up in the early 1990s, I didn't have very good eyesight at this point. Ended up getting LASIK early in my adulthood here. But throughout sports, squinting was a way of business for me. I would have died and gone to heaven if I could have got Oakley's there with prescription lenses like he probably has. Oh, my. Joe, it would have changed my entire lifespan as a kid here. But I had to wear rec specs in 1990.
I agree, Donnie, right? It's all your eyesight is as bad as your best eye, right? Well, what if you got 2 bad eyes then? You're probably not hitting a curveball, much less a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. But, man, oh, man, look, I mean, boy, oh, boy, technology is great. You would think at some point, Donnie, right, they'd have all these crazy contacts are still a pain no matter what, but go with the fashion. Go with the, the $2,000 Oakley prescription glasses and just don't die for anything or break them, Donnie. That's all.
By the way, Joe, I think we missed out on our time, and maybe some of the major leaguers today. I'm going to guarantee you, they don't like technology too much getting into sports. You trying to tell me, Joe, that these new Meta glasses are not going to be able to pick up and tell you immediately when the ball leaves the pitcher's hand, here comes a split-fingered fastball, here comes a changeup, here comes a cutter at this point. Technology is going to ruin the pitching game here, and quite frankly, we might all be here for it. By the way, You take a look at ruining the season, maybe? Those Chicago Cubs look like they were unbeatable. What happened to the Cubs? Let's hear from Ian Happ right now.
Yeah, no, I think every year has periods like that. I do think that, if we had the same record we had today, but we just won every single series, it would feel a little bit different, a little bit more consistent. And, there's pros and cons to, winning 10 straight twice and, having the record we have. But I think when you reflect on the whole thing, we're whatever it is, 12 games over 500 or something like that, and sitting in a good spot. If you would have told us this was going to be a record at this point in the season, I think everybody would have signed up for it. So move on from here and attack tomorrow.
Joe, Marvin Gaye once sung, "What's going on?" What the heck is going on with the Cubbies right now?
Yeah, it was a terrible road trip, Donnie. I mean, it was long. They weren't hitting. You go through lulls like this during the season here. I think the Cubs will be fine. They did have some issues in the back end of the bullpen, but mostly too inconsistent at the plate, Donnie. You can't score no runs and 2 runs and then 8 runs and then no runs, and that's exactly what they did on a very long road trip. They need a day off in the big way, Donnie. They just, unfortunately, aren't getting one here anytime soon.
Bad news for the Atlanta Braves here. Drake Baldwin going to the IL with an oblique strain. Yeah. So 2 things come up in my mind. Did they build a substation down there in Atlanta? And always brings up that meme from Michael Scott in The Office. No. Come on, man. Drake Baldwin's one of the best young players in the game. Now he's down, Joe. Atlanta just can't get right and healthy, it feels like.
No, it can't. But, they still scored 8 runs without him yesterday. Yeah. So they'll be fine. They, for some reason, Donnie, this year, it doesn't make a difference. Acuna goes down, they're still scoring 10 runs a game. So I think they can weather the storm, but hopefully we get him back sooner rather than later if you're a Braves backer.
And by the way, the Braves, plus 90 run differential. Nobody else in the National League East is even above a differential that's a positive. Yeah. The next minus 19, minus 19, minus 5, and minus 10. Nonsense here. Tyler Glass now is made of glass, apparently, Joe. Uh-oh, that back flared up again.
Yeah, of course it did. Yeah, maybe Tampa knows what they're doing with pitchers, right? Yeah. I mean, Snell, Glass now, maybe the writing was on the wall early with them and going, yeah, they're never going to stay healthy here. So now they're your problem, Dodgers.
It's almost like high-end pitchers eventually get hurt, so you shouldn't spend a ton of money on them. Interesting concept here. And we'll be back after the break.
Yeah.
The UIM Formula One World Championship Series. We are over the moon excited about the upcoming season.
Let's go.
10,000 horsepower roars off the dock.
Oh my, there's a problem.
On the outside, side by side. And he's lost control of the book. Hopes and dreams of winning here. Yes!
Get ready for round 1. The Regione Sardegna Grand Prix of Italy, May 29th to 31st.
You can recruit super young talent that may go in the NBA. You can recruit older guys and have them grow up together. But if you want players to stay, either sign them to contracts or treat them well enough where they're going to stay. To me, it's pretty simple. And, a lot of coaches last year had good years and they left skid marks on their schools and nobody said a word.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
They're trading right now currently at 74 wins on the season, which means the Kalshi marketplace goes by 5-win intervals. 75-plus wins for those Houston Astros. That's a 49% contract to the yes, which a $100 investment pays back $205, Greg. I'm not high on this team. Look, again, 75 wins for the Astros is terrible, but this team might not even look the same as where we stand today by the time we get to that deadline.
Pro Baseball Today. Only on SportsGrid.
I love this next topic, and I know I say that quite a bit here on the early line because we got some fun things that we get to talk about. It's because just handicapping or breaking down a game. You wanted it, you got it. You wanted the kids to get paid. I remember back in the day, like my day, I paid to actually play football in college for Division III. It doesn't come across as sour grapes, but the actual Division I, Division II, you're getting a scholarship. That's what you accept, and that's what you're going to do. You get your education, and you leave college at that point debt-free, which is awesome, fantastic. But then we start, it's not fair to the kids. Fine with as well. They're now going to start to get paid, but also understand this. You're going to have coaches that understand the task at hand. So let's go with the CFB home tweet that was sent out yesterday. And this is from an On3 tweet here, which was quote tweeted. Former pro guard R.J. Luis Jr. signed with LSU at Pete Nakos reports. He was the 2025 Big East Player of the Year, then went pro and signed some contracts, and now is coming back to college. Why, you must ask? Because there's loopholes, and the NCAA has no teeth. And Will Wade, who was on an FBI wiretap when you were not allowed to play players in college basketball, hooking his players up with the bag and was like, you know what, LSU, you can't fire me here. Well, LSU essentially moved on from him. He goes to McNeese State, goes back to NC State, tells them to beat it after a year. And where does he go back to? LSU, the same school he was on a wiretap trying to pay players, which was illegal at the time. I love this, and I hope Will Wade gets all the heat on him because what he's doing is showing us the bastardized system that's the NCAA right now, and I love it. You know what? Get 28, 29, 30-year-old players who played overseas for a decade here. Bring them to college. Let's burn it all down to the ground until, Joe, we get some teeth in the NCAA.
Donnie, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Yes, correct.
It's
You're
not
right.
his fault.
Correct.
It is not his fault. It has been very clear for a while now that Will Wade intends to put together the closest thing to a professional basketball team in college basketball. And he's basically going to push the NCAA rules and process into a corner, and they're going to have a decision to make. It was only going to take one, Donnie, right? I mean, you saw Alabama, kind of push it a little bit this year. You saw Baylor push the envelope a little bit. But nobody is going to do it like Will Wade. Because when it comes to saying, I'm just playing by the rules, that you created the rules, I'm going to bring in a whole bunch of 25-year-old, 26-year-old failed, NBA professionals, and I'm going to put them on a college basketball team. They're going to get millions. I'm telling you right now, somebody had to do it. I'm just glad it's Will Wade because nobody's a bigger, SOB than Will Wade, and he'll have no problem sticking it right to everybody. He has an axe still to grind from that investigation a few years ago.
An overwhelming majority of people wanted to see these athletes getting paid. You're getting exactly what we want. Don't get upset by it. It's why the tournament is expanding. It's all about money at this point. It's not about athletics. It's not about, where you're going to school. There's something charming, Joe, about what the college sport used to be. And I'm sorry, you're taking advantage of the kids. Nobody ever forced you to go to college. It's not fair if I have to go to Alabama and not get paid. Go work at a gas station for 3 years, then turn pro. That is you can do whatever you want. You just couldn't get paid. You took the education and you moved on as it well. So now you see the evolution of what's taking place where it was like, hey, man, I'm going to root on the 17-year-old kid who's from the state of Louisiana going to LSU, and I'm going to watch him for 4 years, and we're going to build that bond, and away we go. It's no longer there. It's complete free agency on a year-to-year basis where now it's going to be like, hey, average age of these teams, 23, 24, 25. And also, some people are just slightly bending the rules. Some are breaking them there. Look in college. The oldest team that felt like in the history of college sports was Indiana's football team. What did it get them? A perfect season and an NCAA championship. It's not stopping now until the NCAA gets teeth. And quite frankly, I don't think they care. As long as people are making money, hands off. Let the local judge who's an LSU alum vote on if R.J. Luis can actually come back and play. He'll be like, yeah, why not? And by the time the injunction's up, Joe, he already played the entire season. LSU won, and on to next year. Let's drop the case here at this point. How about a funny topic here on some of these things? Go ahead, Joe. Fire away. I love this.
No, I'm so glad it's not dragging out, Donnie, where we have another year like last year where it's pockets and we yell and scream at Nate Oates and, for Charles Bediako.
Yeah.
Like, no, I want a full team of 25 to 27-year-old European professional guys somebody's got to do it if it's going to change. And now hopefully Will Wade will do it.
Yep, we'll see what happens here. Maybe he burns it to the ground and it works in his favor. Everybody just goes, okay, I'll follow along. And LeBron James actually has some college eligibility. Why? He never played college. Welcome to town here. Let's see what we can do for you. Officially a Beaver, Joe. Petrus Penis. How about that? Would you like that as your name, Joe? Well, he's officially committed to be a Beaver. Jokes write themselves.
Is that PP? What's the initials there? PP. All right, well, that's probably not good either there. But all right, listen, nothing like PP being a Beaver. You got to love it there, Donnie.
Yep.
Oregon State getting it done, man. Love it.
Chicago Sky announced Rickea Jackson has a torn left ACL injury, will miss the rest of the 2026 WNBA season. Sustained the injury in a win versus the Lynx here. Down for the count for at least the season, Joe.
Yeah, that's not good either, too, because the Lynx were hoping she was going to be a big part of, hopefully, their run once again this year. But injuries are part of the game here, Donnie, unfortunately.
If you're headed to the Brickyard, you're going to see Caitlin Clark. What? How is that? Is she racing in this? No, she's not. She's going to be the Grand Marshal here coming up this weekend, Joe.
Well, look, that's it. I mean, you got one of the best players to market your league. Maybe, dare I say, the face of the league. Get her out there. Start promoting it all over the place, especially at other sports that seem to have faded into the background that nobody watches.
Surprised the Indy 500's not bringing somebody for the Fever who averaged like 1 point a game and tell you that they're the Fever superstar at this point. Caitlin Clark getting their flowers for the Indy 500 here. We'll see how that goes this weekend. How about some NBA action? A lot of teams, Joe, in their all-season includes the Chicago Bulls. What's Trajan Langdon up to here?
JD had a fantastic season. All-star, one of the biggest contributors to us being the number 1 seed. Darn near 20 points and 10 rebounds per game. An incredible year, an incredible leap from last year to this year because of the work that he put in last summer and his focus. And I have no doubt that we'll help him put a plan together and he'll attack it this summer just like he did last summer. And he'll come back a better player from his experience, not only during the regular season, but also in the postseason, just like all of our guys will. So we look forward to coming together with his representation, getting a deal done, and for him continue to be a Piston.
By the way, sometimes just read notes off the prompter here, Joe, and it's supposed to be Pistons general manager Trajan Langdon. So as I said, I was like, the hell does Trajan Langdon of the Bulls care about Duran? Well, there you go. Trajan Langdon of the Pistons, Joe. Keep it simple, right?
Yeah, that's it. Well, hopefully somebody in that organization can go out and get somebody else who can shoot besides Cade Cunningham. Be great. Be great to make the Pistons relevant again.
Oh, how about this? You know who loves their basketball, Joe? It's Portland Trailblazers fans. Small market, rally around the team, support them endlessly, whether it's the Jailblazers going all the way back to Clyde Drexler, Jerome Kersey, and all the boys in Duckworth playing center there. They love their basketball. And you know what they got? An owner that doesn't love Portland at here. We see the script, Joe, as it's laying out right in front of us here. The latest from Evan Sidery. The Trailblazers have laid off over 50 long-term employees today, including some of their media team, as new owner Tom Dundon implements more cost-cutting measures on the franchise. Dundon is also exploring hiring a coach for the cheapest possible salary. We saw this, Joe, already in Major League Baseball in Oakland. An owner gets a baseball team here and completely guts it to the core and say, well, Oakland baseball isn't viable. Did you ever see in the 70s and 80s and 90s when Oakland actually was trying to win, the support that they got in that marketplace was absolutely phenomenal? And then the owner goes, I can make more money by stripping this thing down and telling the nation and telling my commissioner it's not viable anymore. We're going to have some time, Joe, on the other side of this here, but I'm just setting up the story if you're not paying attention. Portland's owner buys the team, guts it. Eventually, the fans will walk away, and you know what he's going to tell the commissioner? Basketball's not viable here. I only get 5,000 people in my arena. I got to look to shipping my team out of town here. It's the only thing that will keep us solvent here if I get out of town. We're going to have Joe's response coming up this next. The NBA, they can't allow this here, and we'll talk about it next. We needed to let Joe get a response on this as well because it is a hot topic going on right now. Portland, certainly a basketball town. Trailblazers love there, and the owner comes in automatically. And understand this too, Joe. When we're talking about the major sports like the NBA, we're told and also we see the unbelievable television contracts that come in, which made printing money so easy in the NBA that their values are rising billions of dollars per year. But you're telling me this guy fought to get into the NBA, immediately got in and goes, whoa, I didn't see the books. How do you guys even make a profit here? Cut everybody. I'm not buying it, Joe. What are your thoughts on the Trailblazers and what's going on here?
Follow the money, Donnie. There's something else at play here. It's not because it's been a lifelong dream of this guy to own an NBA team, or he loves the sport so much and he loves the people of Portland and he's from the city. And yet, no, this is divide and conquer. This is only going to lead guys like this, Donnie. Do not spend this kind of money on teams to dismantle it and make it the cheapest, worst team in the NBA. There is a golden parachute somewhere down the road that he is vying for here, whether it's a new city, a new build, whatever it is, there is something at play here. And he is just basically stripping it down in order to get eventually what he wants.
By the way, and again, I'm sure if he bought the Trailblazers, just held on to him, ran it as normal, he'd make billions of dollars by the time he wanted to sell in a decade or whatever he wanted to do. But understand this the way opportunists work here, or the private equity business, buy something worth value, strip it completely down, and then see what you can get for the moving parts. So understand the NBA, what he's trying to do here, right? I bought a team that's no NBA team is losing money at this point. Let me buy them, strip it down to the core, make money, tell you it's not viable, and then go, well, Raleigh, North Carolina is going to pay all my relocation fees, give me a brand new arena where I don't have to pay a single dime, and I'm going to move in there, and my value is going to go up twice overnight. So I bought the team, made a profit, moved the team, and doubled my profit. That's the MO. And as I told you in the last segment, look at what the Athletics have done. We're so poor at this point. Baseball's not viable. Oh, Vegas is going to pay for everything. Sure, we'll move down there, but first, I just have to ruin my baseball team for a couple years, write it off as taxes here, and keep it profitable and move on. They're going to do that. If you're going to let owners do this, what's going to happen? The next owner's going to buy and do the exact same thing in a different city near you. Keep an eye on that. Now, Joe, I want to get to one more NBA topic before we flip it over. Remember we were talking about yesterday, hey, there's no doubt in my mind LeBron James is coming back, but where is he going to go? And what is it going to be worth? Because we thought it'd be interesting. LeBron's got more money than anybody here. You know what? I want a ring. I want to go to a team that's already at the salary cap, but I'll take that veteran minimum that doesn't count against it. Full court pass tweets out, Joe. LeBron James will not consider taking a veteran's minimum contract this summer. That complicates things, Joe.
No, it doesn't, Donnie, because all of this is about him wanting to go back to L.A. and that we already know the Cavs can't afford him, Donnie. They're not going to be able to offer him anything outside of a couple of ham sandwiches and the league minimum, and that is not going to work for him. We know this. This is all about LeBron wanting his farewell tour. Nobody more egotistical than LeBron James. I'm telling you, the decision 2.0 is coming. Donnie, it is coming. There's going to be a Amazon Prime special, and it's all going to be, where you going, LeBron? What's it going to be? Yeah, please. Nobody cares what, 40-some-odd-year-old NBA has-beens are going or where they want to go. It's either going to be the Lakers or nobody, Donnie, because I don't see him working his way into anybody else.
Yeah, Vincent, when you're at that age, too, like you're in an area, there's a lot of business, it's nice weather, you're a Laker here, it costs a lot to move, and you take that heat. He's probably just going to stay with the Lakers at this point. And also, if you're with the team already, they can pay you more than any other team, and LeBron James understands that. And he still is a star in the NBA. We'll see where it goes and plays out. But I did think it was interesting, like, hey, I'll go anyway. I'll play for the veteran minimum to get another title. How hungry I am. He's like, no.
And it's not just him, Donnie.
Yeah.
It's not, again, you sign LeBron. You're not just signing LeBron. Everyone understands that, right? There's some baggage named Bronny that's also coming with LeBron that will have to take up a right. You understand, Donnie? Like, it's not just LeBron. It's the whole circus that comes with LeBron that you got to bring in.
Dad, if you leave the Lakers, I'm going to be thrown right out behind you. I'm the El Segundo Lakers. Here you come, and eventually cut, and you wind up somewhere else. We'll see what happens with LeBron James and in the NBA. But I just found this fascinating, this market here. Darren Ravel tweet, in a battle, Joe, that lasted past 2 a.m. Eastern, the Ring of Miracle on Ice coach Herb Brooks sold for $549,000 at Heritage this morning. Ranks behind the 27 Ruth ring, 69 Seaver with the Mets, and Russell's 57 ring here with the, I'm assuming that was the Celtics ring at that point. But how about this, Joe? That's it. Like, memorabilia always goes higher. Wouldn't it be nice to say, hey, I'm going to pay $500,000 for a ring and show people I got it?
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's pretty impressive, man. Muriel and I mean, it done now that, of course, Team USA has another gold in this Olympic Games here. But it's going to be Herb again. It'll still be they'll still play at every Olympics, Donnie. They'll still play the Miracle on Ice. They'll still show it. And in a couple of years, that'll be $750,000, $800,000. They're some of the best investments you can make. If you got the money, why not, Donnie?
When the Olympics back then, Joe, truly for amateurs at that point, 1980 Lake Placid was the place to be here. Talking about some ice hockey doings, and I agree with this. Emily Kaplan with a tweet, Joe. The Vegas Golden Knights appealed the NHL's punishment in person this morning, which was a tweet from yesterday. It was determined that the penalties, a $100,000 fine for John Tortorella and a loss of a second-round pick, will remain as assessed. Understand this. The NHL doesn't play around with ratings. When you're in a high, visible series and you clinch and move on, you're going to answer questions to the press because that's good for business. You want to hide behind and say you don't want to? These are the consequences on that. Say, Joe, this wasn't a early February game against Winnipeg.
Listen, Bettman is a lot of people don't like him, but he's got he's got a lot of David Stern in him. That same mold where I'm not. It's not up for discussion. When this is it, this is the end of it. And you got to do that. Otherwise, the inmates run the asylum, and that's not good for anybody making money.
Yeah, it's not as if they say, like, hey, well, hurry up. We had to get out of town because of a hockey game the next night that we have to play in the playoffs. All you had to do was get to the podium. Congratulations. It wasn't even, you lost the game on a controversial call. Come on, Torts, get it together, bud. I guess that's what makes them Torts here. We'll be right back after this break. More talk next. Joe, you know me. I've used this tagline more times than I can count. If you are a professional coach in any league, you are hired to be fired. Hey, I'm going to work here the next 30 years. No, you're not. You'll be lucky to get 5. And now it seems like the epidemic is, hey, man, you don't feel as good. You just got hired. You got that big extension here. Welcome to the NHL. Welcome to the NFL. This is going to be a fun ride. Enjoy it. And maybe you get 1 year. Maybe you get no years, like on the extension we just talked about Jason Kidd. The Canucks have fired head coach Adam Foote after 1 season. Boy, teams love to spend money on coaches, fire them. Like, hey, what's this? The bottom line, we have 3 coaches on payroll who are head coaches. Yeah, you fire him after 1 year. That's what happens. He's out. He's out for the Canucks, Joe.
Again, who is doing the vetting?
Is it his
here?
fault?
Like, I mean, who is doing the vet? Are you just randomly just picking dudes and be like, all right, you got the job, and then a year later, you're like, wow, he's really not any good at his job? Or is there a bigger problem here, Donnie, with some of these teams? Like, you keep hiring the wrong people, and you keep telling us you're hiring the wrong people by firing them and still paying them, Donnie. Keep going up the ladder. The people who need to go are not on the coaching level. They're the people actually hiring them.
And the best part, like, this happens every day in business. Like, hey, we had a lot of people for the job. You hired somebody. After like a week, it's like, I don't know if this is going to work out. Well, if you let the guy go, you probably don't owe him any more on a salary because he's probably hourly or just had a yearly compensation that when you get fired, you get your COBRA benefits, and you're out the door. But these coaches are like, okay, well, send my $10 million straight to my bank account tomorrow, and I'll get a job somewhere else. That's what makes it so hilarious. You're not like, hey, well, there was no money left on his contract. We're going to let him go. Like, no, there's millions of dollars left. Like, mistake, get out of town here. Oh, well, at this point. By the way, talking about getting out of town, the Wild general manager is basically telling us, Joe, anybody can be traded. Let's hear it.
I got one for you, Billy. Looking ahead to trade talks this summer, how many players do you have that are untouchable?
Nobody in this game's untouchable. Wayne Gretzky got traded. Anybody can get traded.
Joe, what I take away from that, though, is a Russian winger named Kaprizov would like to play with Matvei Michkov in Philadelphia. That's what I took away. But they love this question. Like, what was he supposed to say? 2. And then what's the reporter go? Can you name those 2? Come on.
The look, just the guy's face was priceless, man. The entire reaction. And then he drops. He had to think about it, too. Like, listen, dude, Wayne Gretzky got traded.
Correct.
If Wayne Gretzky can get traded, and nobody is untouchable in this game. Outstanding answer.
Look, I love those type of stories, too, because you're right about this. If you would have told me to get back in a time machine, the legendary son of Canada, Wayne Gretzky, with the Edmonton Oilers, where all they do is win Stanley Cups and got to be profitable. You know what? Business owner makes a bad business decision. I need money. I'm going to trade Wayne down to L.A. They're going to give me cash back and a couple players will take it. Nobody would have ever thought that would have happened, but it did, and he's right about that. Nobody is untradeable. Now, Joe, I want to flip it over quickly to the NFL right now. When they say nobody's untradeable here and things can't get any worse and enough with the international games, you know what the NFL goes? What if we told you we're thinking about making more international games? And oh, yeah, Eagles, Cowboys at Lincoln Financial Field. The fans love that. You can't even predict that. We might put that game overseas. And I joked on Twitter yesterday, Joe. You know, it'd be great. The Dallas Cowboys Thanksgiving home game is now going to be played in, like, Germany. What's next, NFL?
Oh, I think that's fantastic. I'm telling you, Donnie, all these trips to the moon now, I'm guessing, right? Somebody's building a stadium there, Donnie. That's going to be next. I'm telling you right now. That's it. It's going to be interplanetary. That's what's going to be. We're playing in Mars. We're going to be. What's left, Donnie? I mean, leave no stone unturned, right? If you're in the NFL, play everywhere you can.
You know, we didn't used to mind, Joe, when the international series started. It was kind of interesting here. They played in the morning, but you know what they used to do? Take horrendous football teams from their cities who don't really care about football, put them in London for an exhibition or a game. It's like, hey, that's interesting. The Cardinals taking on the Jaguars. Send that there. And now it's like, hold on now. This could have been Green Bay and Philadelphia. You're going to put them in Rio at this point? Like, wait a second. Like, Philadelphia would have loved to have that home game with an advantage. Don't worry about it here. The Rams and the 49ers are playing in Australia? I don't care how many San Francisco 49ers take over the stadium in L.A. L.A. still wants to be home in their beds and in their home locker room at this point. When is it enough, as Joe points out? Interplanetary galaxy stuff? Stop it. And I'm telling you right now, it's coming. It is. The Super Bowl will be played the next decade, not in the United States of America. And you'll be like, yeah, par for the course. And it will be pay-per-view or on Tubi at that point. Hour number 2 is next. Hour number 2, and you are ready to go, people. The hottest topics, you need them, we got you covered. What happened last night? Overtime action, you got it. Big-time games tonight, absolutely. Coming up in this hour, Kevin Walsh going to join us, host of Game Time Decisions, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. right here on the SportsGrid Network. Prediction Markets Edge as well, and also some best bets if you followed along. Joe nailed it all the way through. Not even a sweat at all. Knicks to get the cover last night, absolutely. Had a team total of 4.5 on the Angels. They got smoked, Joe. 14-6, doesn't matter. They scored 6 runs. We cashed that ticket. Great stuff all the way around. The hot topics will continue to fly, and we're going to get you through to this work week so you can enjoy your Memorial Day weekend, Joe. That's a job at hand, and we'll do it.
A lot going on, too, here, Donnie, as we get ready for conference championships. Obviously, in the NBA, look like they're getting good. We get the conference championships in the NHL started tonight. So a lot of this is must-watch television now through the finals.
Jackson Smith-Njigba. Ever heard that name? Damn good wide receiver. Super Bowl ring. Got paid a ton of money, and rightfully so. He is the Defensive Player of the Year for 2025. Does he play defense, Joe? What am I missing here at this point? They mess up his name at the honors, then they send him the trophy saying he was the Defensive Player of the Year, Joe. How about that?
He was so good, Donnie, that they just said nobody can cover him, so you might as well give him the Defensive Player trophy because he can only cover himself, apparently. Well done. I mean, Who do you think got fired over that one, Donnie? How do you think that one worked out?
They probably outsourced it to Fanatics, Joe. And that's what happened. You showed up.
Good point.
Did you see the jerseys, by the way, getting sent upside down nameplates on the back? I would love to get one of those jerseys. I think it would be hilarious at this point. But also, I actually thought when I saw the original tweet before I read it, it was like, yeah, they probably spelled his name wrong. It's a tough name to get right. No, it's offensive and defensive player of the year. He's a wideout and got defensive player of the year. But by the way, like name spelling, I tell you, like Twitter doesn't really have like an autocorrect button. Do you know the names I get tripped up so much more? Jalen and Devonta, who's in Philadelphia, Devonta Smith. I can't spell some of those guys for the life of me here, and it never helps me out. So that's where I thought they were going, Joe. But no, it's simple. The dude plays offense. You send him defense here. Ridiculous at this stuff. Let's get to some of the hot topics here across the sports landscape, which includes more NFL. Maybe they would have had an award that goes, 2030 Super Bowl is not going to Nashville. It's actually going somewhere else. No, it's actually going to Nashville here. If you build it, Joe, they will come, they will pay, and they will enjoy the festivities. 2030 Nashville, it's now officially official.
Yeah, and, Donnie, I love it. It's a great city. It's a good sports town. Love them Titan fans. Been to a lot of games there. It's going to be a little cold. But listen, if they're sending it there, Donnie, then don't forget. MetLife held a Super Bowl once too. So yeah, I love the plan, and that would be a fun city to go, unlike some of the Super Bowls you've went to.
Oh, come on now. I'd love to go to Jacksonville and Minneapolis, Minnesota here. Enough with the nonsense. Get us back in the heat and humidity here, Joe. I got to tell you, let me ask you this question, too. You know the owner, right? Amy Adams Strunk took over for Bud Adams, handled the organization. How many new coaches and general managers will she have hired and fired by the time they get to 2030? You have that? Can we get that on the Cashew Marketplace?
Well, hopefully none, because I do like Robert Saleh, and I do think he's going to have some success there. So, and it's a good football town. It's a good sports town. So they should absolutely keep her on the sidelines. And she swears she's going to be a little less hands-off. So let's see how long that lasts.
How about this, Joe? Every single sporting event you find yourself watching here for somehow just broke a record of something in the last 5 to 10 years because everything is juiced. How about if we told you Carlos Alcaraz not going to play in the next 2 majors, which it looks like is going to be the case now that he dips out of Wimbledon? Those ratings are still going to be high, but it gives a chance to somebody else, Joe. We like that.
Yeah, I think the majority of people be like, who's Carlos Alcaraz?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think it's going to matter very much. Just say Sinner or Alcaraz? Well, no Alcaraz, so guess what my choice is going to be? Sinner. Yep, there you go. Path is clear now for the Grand Slam titles this year in tennis.
Mr. Sinner here. Talking about a sinner here, Joe. How about this next topic? That is Rashee Rice. He could not stop getting high, so therefore he's going to jail. But that's okay. He only misses OTAs. Hey, what'd you do with your summer and your offseason? I went to jail. That's Rashee Rice.
You can't fix stupid, man. I don't know what else to say. The guy, he should have been in jail for the last time he should be in. And instead of, counting and changing his ways and going, wow, I really dodged a bullet here. I gotta grow up quickly. You fail a drug test with your parole officer, and now you're spending 30 days in jail. Like, what are you doing, dude? Unbelievable. He won't be a chief for much longer, Donnie. That's my forecast here for him.
A little talent goes a long way here. Where yes, you are good. Like you messed up so bad already, and okay, got past that. Oh, he's back in jail. That's okay. We'll wait till he comes out and see if he can suit up and help us out in September. Just the way the world works at this point right now. Jason Kidd. $40 million left on his contract. He's out the door in Dallas. Major changes being made by Ujiri, who came over as the previous head of basketball operations in Toronto, now finds himself with Dallas and putting his stamp on that franchise right away.
Yeah, well, that's really what it is, right? Ujiri is, and it's interesting because, he's taken over a couple of teams and has, kept the coaches there, but not this time. I don't know what else you wanted Jason Kidd to do, but again, Jason Kidd will be with another organization here at some point. Somebody's hiring him. He won't be unemployed very long. But you think about all of the craziness he's had to go through over the last couple of seasons. He's probably happy saying, you're paying me to leave, I'll take the money and I'll go someplace else and we're all good here.
And make even more at that point, too. It's like, hey, you got $40 million to go sit on the couch. You can go into the booth and call NBA games, go into the studio. Or if you want to take another job, you can do that as well. Don't feel bad for Jason Kidd. He's the big winner. People that get hired on multi-year contracts and get fired and get all their compensation, they won, not the teams themselves looking to move on. Liv Goff. They were trying to win at this game, Joe, but it turns out they're probably the biggest losers. Saying on one end, hey, man, we're going to be okay. We're going to finish out our season, to now saying, like, we hope we get funding, to now going, hey, get the courts on the phone. Bankruptcy, here we come.
And I feel so bad for the investors in this league.
Yeah.
I mean, are probably so please. Yeah. All right. Next, fold it up, be done. Give us the better players back on the PGA Tour, and let's pretend this never happened.
How about this? Arsenal, first time in 22 years, is the champions of the Premier League, Joe. Did you shed a tear for that? Were you excited? Did you whip out the red jersey, or the red kit, I should say?
Yeah. No, listen, people bent out of shape about this. Not a lot of love for Arsenal across the board here, Donnie. Well, every sport needs a villain. It looks like Arsenal fills that role pretty well here now. So maybe EPL better off for it.
Yeah, by the way, look, make me commissioner of the EPL. We'll take it to the next level. The single fact they don't have playoffs in the EPL, hilarious. Let's put this in American perspective here, Joe. Let's go to Major League Baseball. There's no playoffs. Just the best record wins the World Series. A team runs it. By the way, like inside, what do the rest of the teams do when there's no chance to win? Do the fans even care anymore? Like we always talk about in America, like when you have like a huge, tournament or the brackets, these chances, like some teams after 5 or 6, I guess, matches know they can't win. Their fans still cheer the rest of the way, even though there's no point to the season.
Donnie, it's so funny because you would think a team that has not won in 22 years, that, there'd be a celebration going on. Nope. Nobody likes the way they play. Nobody likes the way they win games. And it's a rough crowd over there, man, at EPL.
Make me commissioner, just like Kyle. We're putting 12 teams in, Joe. We get it going here. People in America will actually start to watch the EPL because not a league without playoffs isn't really a league at all. Cristiano Ronaldo, congratulations. He's back at the World Cup. Who didn't know that, people? Kevin Walsh next. Soccer expert he is. What's going on in the association? We told you eventually those playoffs were going to get good in the NBA. My goodness, barn burners the past 2 days, exactly the way we like it. Donnie Rightside, Joe Raineri, and we welcome in Kevin Walsh today, fresh off another overtime game last night, which I assume a lot of people probably turned off in the fourth quarter. Kevin, how are we feeling today?
Feel great. Yeah, the NBA playoffs have been fantastic, so I don't know what you're talking about getting good, but they are certainly ramping up here with two just unbelievable game number ones in the conference finals.
We're going to get to those conference finals, but I got two topics I need to touch with you today. Number one of those topics, the Dallas, I had to go back because I saw somebody, sometimes you swipe through Twitter, it's like, hold on, what are they talking about Jason Kidd for being let go? Like, what is this, like some Onion account? He got fired yesterday, which I thought was interesting. Majiri is obviously the head of basketball operations. And number two, Kevin, LeBron James goes, veteran minimum. You better break out the dollars, baby. What do we think about those NBA topics outside of what's actually going on the court?
So the Jason Kidd piece is surprising, but I guess Masai just wants his own guy. And, you know, we see that in football all the time, right? Like it's so common in the NFL that it feels less jarring. The other interesting thing with the way the NBA is, it's not as simple as in the NFL where we go, oh, this is the obvious coaching candidate or this is the obvious coaching candidate. There will be 2 to 3 high-level assistants. There'll be a college name. There'll be a couple of old-timers. So I don't know who that immediate front runner is going to be for the Maverick job. Is it going to be someone that Masai's had ties to type of thing? I think we'll see, but it's obviously a coveted job with Cooper Flagg being the centerpiece in Dallas. You will have to catch me up a bit, Donnie, though, on the specifics of what you're talking about here with LeBron and the veterans minimum.
Yeah, let me just double down. A report came out that because Joe and I have conversations all the time, like LeBron James, where's he going? He's obviously not going to retire, but we thought it'd be interesting. Like, you know what? If he goes to the Knicks or over the cap, well, I'll take the veteran exception here. So I'll move in, doesn't affect your cap. You know, I'll be a starter, and we're going to really do this thing. Well, a report came out that goes, absolutely not. He's never going to take a veteran minimum, which then leads us to believe, as Joe pointed out, he's probably going to be back with the Lakers then because they'll be able to afford to pay him, as opposed to Kevin, well, I want to go sign a 2-year deal for $78 million and be like, whoa, we're a little bit strapped at this point right now.
Yeah, well, my take on this is I don't actually think people want LeBron to take the veteran minimum. Like, he is even if you don't like LeBron, he's what, the 25th best player in the NBA? If you really like LeBron, he's a top 15-ish player in the NBA. That guy shouldn't be playing on a veteran's minimum. Like, a lot of people base it on if LeBron needs the money. If LeBron was making contract decisions based on need of money, he could have been playing on the vet mins for a decade, right? That's not what this is based on. Sometimes it's about the balances of basketball. Now, playing for the mid-level exception, which is probably like $15 million, like, we can have a conversation at that point. I think that's, a little bit different, but I never really liked the idea of LeBron playing on the veteran minimum, quite frankly.
Yeah, we should be playing on the veteran. Is James Harden. What'd you think last night there? What'd you think last night, James? Brunson's like, enough of this crap already. Will you just give me the ball? Let's go after Harden, and let's see if we can't get this thing a little bit closer. Unbelievable.
But I had, first of all, just because, and it's a great transition by you, just so everybody knows, the Cavs acquiring Harden has made them acquiring LeBron less likely. Just so everybody knows. And all offseason, I was screaming after Cleveland lost to Indiana, they should go bring LeBron back. And there were people like, are you crazy? Why would they do that? And does anybody think this would look the way it does right now if LeBron was in Harden's shoes? No. As much as Harden is getting torched, and I'm not saying he shouldn't, Kenny Atkinson, do you have a pulse? I truly do not understand. One of the great memes, it's like the police phone call, and it says, it's the quote, "What are you going to do, stab me?" And it says, "From man who was stabbed." Like Kenny
Yes.
Atkinson's like, what are they going to do? Attack Harden every play? Yes, that's what's happening, Kenny. Call it. What are you doing? Like at that point, you're probably scored enough points. Take Harden off the court. Like it was insane to watch Cleveland allow that to happen. Because I think to some degree, I'm not taking credit away from the Knicks, but I feel like Cleveland allowed that to happen way more than any reasonable coach would have allowed.
Yeah, incredible comeback at that point.
Unlucky, really was. Just.
They're not going to make it again. Oh boy, they made another one. Oh wow,
God, I love it.
Like playing your boy in Madden, same play over and over, expecting that different result. We just get housed for touchdown after touchdown at this point. It's amazing the way it turned out. Now all of a sudden, you expected a game 1 victory there for the Cavaliers. That adrenaline dump might happen now in game number 2. It's like you're going back to Cleveland down 0-2 and good luck and deal with it. But we do have a game 2 tonight. Wembanyama's game 1 double overtime performance. People are still talking about it, Kevin, about a touchdown favorite tonight still for OKC. Does OKC even this series up? Because if they don't, you are in. You can't lose 2 games at home and expect to win a series.
Yeah, I think for Oklahoma City, though, if we follow the recent history beats, game 1, not as surprising, and that means game 2, they should win by 15 plus. Like sometimes as bettors, we see things that look simple, and that's where the phrase trap comes from, right? You're like, oh no, but it does feel like, as somebody who loves San Antonio in game number 1, it does feel like now you zag over to Oklahoma City and you lay the 6.5 points, and you factor in that Victor Wembanyama isn't going to be scoring 40 points in this basketball game, and that someone other than Caruso on OKC will be able to make their 3-point shots here tonight. Maybe a few guys even could make their 3-point shots. This is, if the Thunder lose this, Donnie, to your point, though, it's full panic mode because this is a classic Thunder spot.
The free throw merchant needs to get to the line tonight, but you know what you need to do? Catch up Game Time Decisions right here on the grid, 6 p.m. Eastern. You want some best bets? You're just about to get them, people here. But before we get there, we got some hot topics to get through here. Halfway through this hour number 2. I need some help on this one, Joe. Transfer News Live with a tweet. Breaking, Southampton has been expelled from the Premier League playoffs. Middlesbrough will now compete in the playoff final. I thought we didn't have playoffs in the Premier League. We do have playoffs? Explain yourself, Joe. Explain this to me.
Well, they do, but from what I understand, Donnie, they took a page out of the Belichick Patriots rule book, some sort of videotaping and all sorts of cheating along those lines. So I think maybe, just maybe, they'll have to let it play out. But I think they took a page out of the Belichick Patriot rule book is the problem here.
Yeah, by the way, somebody there asked Grok what happened. Then Grok said they admitted to multiple breaches, including film in Middlesbrough's training sessions before the semifinal. After today's EPL hearing, it looks like Middlesbrough has been reinstated now if they Hull City in the final at Wembley on Saturday. I don't know. It is what it is, Joe, but there you go. Southampton out here in these streets. Middlesbrough, have at it. We'll see what happens at this point. But now it's time to ask the people where they want to go today. Fading the public, huh? I think this was put out late this morning here. Who is your Wicked Wednesday dog of the day, Joe? Spurs, Golden Knights, Sky, or Padres here? Look at the Pods leading the way. +150 out here in these streets. Over Ohtani, too. Goodness.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, Donnie. I might have to look to fade the public there because, listen, I'll tell you, it's not the greatest offensive season for Ohtani, but make no mistake, he is pitching at a ridiculous level right now. And although the Padres have been good, I don't know, especially now that apparently it looks like Freeman finally got off the schneid, a couple of home runs. He was in a terrible slump. If he starts swinging the bat again, I think the Dodgers are the right side here today.
Yeah, down a couple starting pitchers here for those Dodgers. Maybe they're going to have to hit their way into a streak here, which is always nice. Team totals, RBI props, home run props, and much, much more. But Ohtani's on the mound today. Sort of makes it a tough victory there for the Padres. We'll see what happens. Now, let's get to some of those best bets. Here's bye. Come on, Joe. Where do you go here? 2-0 for you to start the week. It's a Wednesday. If you go 3-0, you guarantee yourself a winning week. Where are we doing this winning week action at, Joe?
Well, I'm going to go to a bounce-back spot with a team in Major League Baseball, Donnie, that I love the pitching matchup here, and it's going to be with the Seattle Mariners, who lost a tough one. Now they got Castillo coming out of the bullpen, by the way, which is hilarious. But I like Emerson Hanga. Former Yankee, came up with the Yankee farm system there, just couldn't put it together, but they have done wonders with him in Seattle. It's a great pitcher's ballpark. His home road split, Donnie, is crazy. He's a much better pitcher in Seattle. He just faced the White Sox 2 weeks ago in Chicago. Didn't work out all that well, but it's a lot easier to pitch at home in Seattle. I like them to bounce back after a rough one last night. I think at this price point against Burke and the White Sox, Mariners are the team to back here today.
The M's for me. I'm going to switch it over, Joe, to the association tonight. And I love myself some public fade. So what did you see in game number 1 with the Oklahoma City Thunder and the San Antonio Spurs? As my pops would say, that's too many points. And technically, he was right. Game went to overtime, an outright victory for the San Antonio Spurs after 2 overtimes. So what does the public come back and say? You're going to give me that same exact price tag on a team that won before? Sure, they might win it outright, or they could keep it close. Not so fast. I'm seeing, Joe, 29% of the tickets coming in on the Oklahoma City Thunder, which means nobody wants to bet them, Joe. Line opened up at 6.5, still sitting at 6.5, and now I'm seeing some juice to the 6.5s and some outlets already moving it to -7. It's not really a zigzag theory, and yes, Oklahoma City needs this victory. I'm just looking at the public that goes, I'll take the points with the Spurs. I watched game number 1. We're going to do the opposite, Joe. We're going Thunder tonight in a public fade. Thunder by a touchdown here. Let's get that cash and move forward, Joe, with a 2-0 night.
Yeah, Donnie, it was funny as I'm watching you talk there. I'm watching the board get lit up in a number of different spots. Here comes the steam. 7s now popping up, or really juice 6.5. So, and again, we still don't know De'Aaron Fox's availability. If he doesn't go, this is likely climbing. So again, grab OKC sooner rather than later, Donnie.
Prediction Markets Edge is coming your way next. The train rolls along on a Wednesday right here on the Sports Grid Network.